We're going to look at finding the percent of a number. I am assuming that last year you did a percent proportion, but I'm going to go over it anyway just to make sure. So to find a percent of a number or to work backwards, there are really two ways to do that. You can use an equation over here. Okay, you can use an equation or you can use a percent proportion. All right, so I'm going to look at the percent proportion first, just so hoping that this is a review, but we'll see. So I have 15%. Okay, so 15%, that goes here. 15 over 100 of is times, we know that, of 60. And 60 is the total. So that goes at the bottom across from the 100%, because the whole thing, the whole total is 60. So I would solve that by, I would be finding the scale factor. What do I multiply 100 by to get 60? And that would be times 0.6. And then I would multiply the 15 times 0.6, and I would get 90 and 1 decimal place. So the answer is 9. So 9 is 15% of 60. Okay. In the equation side, which I don't know if you've been introduced to or not, but it's a very simple thing. It's you take the percent and you change it to a decimal. So I have 15%, and I'm changing that to 0.15. And of is times, okay? And I'm multiplying that by 60, and I'm getting the part. And as in the other side, if I multiply 60 by 0.15, I will get 30. 60, I'm going to get 9, and 2 spaces, I am going to get 9. So in both cases, I have showed that 9 is 15% of 60. Now, sometimes they won't give it to you that way. So if you look at the bottom, there are two different kinds, and you're going to be responsible for finding this both ways. 15 is what percent of 75? So now I'm looking up at on the top at the equation. So the percent in that equation comes first, and the percent I don't know. So it's x percent, and then times the total, which is 75, equals 15. And so that's how I'd set that up. I still have the percent times the total equals the part, which is 15. So this goes back to what I know about finding the missing multiplier. So if I'm finding the missing multiplier, I'm taking the multiplier I have and I'm dividing it into the total. And in this case, I'm going to get 0.20. Okay. And so then I know that x equals 20%, because 0.20 at 20 out of 100 is 20%. Now, if I'm setting it up as a percent proportion, okay, I don't know what the percent is, but I know that it's always over 100, and that's going to equal 15 over 75. And I would solve it just like I did in the first one we did. I would figure out what I'm multiplying 75 by to get 100. And if you put that in your calculator, you would find out it would be like 1.33 repeating. And then, so this would be times 1.33 repeating. And if you multiply that by 15, you're going to get very close to 20. You're going to get like 19 point something, something, something. Okay, and so the answer then would round up to 20. But you won't get that exactly. The most accurate way, in my opinion, to get a percent of a number is to do it this way. And I'm gonna change that color. I'm gonna change it to red. Okay, so that this way to me is the most accurate. However, if you can see it better in a percent proportion, by all means, try that. I mean, if that's where you need to hang your hat, then that's where you go. For me, the Gini-Cerniglia method is definitely using an equation. Okay, so let's do the last one here. In this problem, it doesn't give you the total. It only gives you the parts. So I'm going to set this up. I have the percent, 25% of some number. I'll put a thing here because this is going to be x, of x equals 25. Okay? And so again, I'm going to change this to a decimal. Okay, I want to make sure I have it right. So 25, I'm going to change it to a decimal. And then I'm going to divide because I know what the answer is. Here's the answer. I have one of the multipliers, so I'm going to divide the answer by one of the multipliers. Now, here is an interesting little piece of tidbit, which I don't know if you went over very much in 6th grade, but you cannot divide by a decimal. So you need to move the decimal point, the amount of places that make it a whole number, and then do that also in the dividend. Okay, and so if I do that, that's 1, 25, 0, 0, 0. And so according to that, x is 0. It is 100. Okay, let's look at it if I put it as a percent proportion. Okay, so I know the percent, 25 out of 100. And that is equal to, and I have the part, so I'm putting that on top, but I don't have the bottom. So now I'm looking at what I'm multiplying by. Well, to get from here to here, I'm multiplying by 1. So here, I'm multiplying by 1. And again, for that one, x equals 100. Those are the 3 different types of percent of a number problem you will come in contact with. And we're going to practice some I'm going to give you problems. You're going to do it in forms. And I want you to make sure you come back to this so you can see how it fits into the equation or the percent proportion. And I want you to decide on the way you feel most comfortable and then really practice that. Okay? Good job.